Guess who's back? Back again.
Shady's back.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Katie Lynn, and I just love it when my husband joins me.
What's up, everybody? It's good to be here.
This is Connie.
I don't introduce myself as that, but that's what she likes to call me.
That's what we call him. Me and lots of other of our friends.
So I guess you can feel free to call me that too.
Yeah. But today we just thought it'd be really fun to make a video and just talk about how we met and really our first year of dating each other. And we just thought it would be sweet because we love to like reflect back on it. And, and also just like, it will help you get to know us better and just like feel closer to us. So
yeah, so we love, I love now that we're like a year and a half into marriage, just talking about the awkwardness, the so much fun we had in dating. It's just so cool to reflect on the different seasons of life that we've been through.
Yeah, so our first season, if you will, together, I'll start. But I remember we met in college at Washita, a little tiny college in a tiny town called Arkadelphia. And I remember being a sophomore, in college, and so many of my, like, it's called a social club, but basically a sorority, but so many of my sisters were like, hey, this baseball player thinks you're cute, and I was like, okay. And I was told that by many different people, and it, of course, was the same guy. And I was just like, well, you know what? I'm not really interested right now in my head, but I'll just wait to see if he introduces himself to me. So now you can tell your part.
Classic, playing hard to get. And well, I actually saw, our school is really small, but Katie Lynn I saw on campus a couple times, and I didn't know her, which I was new to the school, I just transferred in. So my curiosity, I was like trying to find out the friends that I did have from baseball, and a couple other friends that I had. I was like, hey, who is this girl? And one of my teammates actually went to high school with her. And was
Shout out Chandler, love him.
Yes.
Sweet, so sweet.
Great guy. And actually was just telling me about her character. She was just super sweet, super just in love with the Lord. And I was immediately like, oh my goodness, she's beautiful. And she loves Jesus. So I want to get to know her. I want to introduce myself.
That's so funny. Chandler probably spoke way too sweetly of me, but that's so funny. What? It's just funny.
Anyways, it's true though. She's being super humble. But so after that, we actually had a student-led worship service weekly called Refuge. And so one of our mutual friends, I had asked, I said, hey, will you introduce me to her? Because I wanted to meet her in person and, you know, just make a good impression. So he introduces us, and as you can imagine, any first time usually meeting someone, it was a little awkward. Actually, a lot of awkward.
I was nervous though too, because one, I already told you I wasn't like looking for a relationship, and two, baseball players, I will say, like, they don't always have the best reputation.
We had a bad reputation.
Not just at Washita, I'm just saying, like, in general. I was just kind of like, what? Oh, reputation. I was just in general like, those might not be the people I want to like date, but I was totally wrong.
Yeah. So after that, after we met, we ended up getting together and hanging out with some friends. We hadn't even talked since then, or since the next time that we hung out together with friends. And it was just kind of like we were forced together to be in the same room, and like we were watching a movie or something, and little conversation was...
With the door open at a Baptist school.
And little conversation was really exchanged between us, but then I think going from there, we like had a few trips to the store,
He asked for my number a few weeks later.
Yeah, and then a few weeks later, asked for her number in person, which was very difficult. Proud of himself. And from there, I asked her on a date to the best restaurant in town. If you don't know if you've heard of it, it's the exquisite Cracker Barrel.
Exquisite.
And if anybody knows the town I went to school in Arkadelphia, Arkansas, Cracker Barrel is like the most poppin' place.
Yeah, there's a Waffle House there, but that's about all you're gonna get. Yeah. So we went to Cracker Barrel for our first date, and I just remember it was so funny. We ordered the same breakfast. That was
love right there.
Yeah, we got to know each other. In fact, I remember Connor asking me some questions, and we were there for quite a while, and he didn't tell me that he had, like, what class was it?
I was in chemistry class, and I had planned to be late. I had told my professor, hey, I'm going to be working on a project that I have to turn in today. I might be a few minutes late.
That's so bad.
So I ended up telling her, I was like, hey, I need to go. I'm actually supposed to be in class right now.
I was like, what? You didn't tell me something.
So we rushed back. And it's so funny because the friend that introduced us, Josh, him and I were both planning out this hour that we had to go to breakfast.
Like 10 minutes, you're gonna sit down, you're gonna figure out what you want to eat.
And like right when we sit down, we're gonna know exactly what we want, we're gonna order, it's gonna take this long. And it was hilarious. And it didn't go as planned, but it all worked out.
It's funny to look back on now.
Yeah, it was so much fun to laugh about over the past couple of years.
Yeah, so we met in the spring of my sophomore year, Connor's junior year. And before we went into summer, or before that, we had just kind of hung out like every now and then and got to know each other a little bit more. But it wasn't until, during that time, Connor told me that he first told me that he wanted to pursue me, which I was like, okay, that's fine, like that's great. And I was really thankful that he told me that. And then a little bit later, he told me that he liked me, and I said, what did I say?
Ooh la la! No, she said, thank you. That's sweet.
I don't know.
And in my heart and in my head, I was thinking, you know, I think we knew each other been hanging out like a month and a half, maybe 2 months. And so in my head, I was thinking, okay, I just need to tell her how I feel, kind of take the lead and just let her know where I was at. So she wasn't out of the known. And I think it got the point across, but it was just soon to you, I think.
Yeah, and we like to say like we wanted our communication to match our commitment. So I think that I was just a little shy because I had never had a boyfriend before, and I really didn't want to rush into anything that like super serious. So we went into the summer. I was in our college town. I was interning for my church at the time, and Connor his hometown was only an hour away. So every weekend we would go on a date together, and that was the time that we would just have really good conversations over dinner. I mean, we would do fun things like putt-putt, of course, and bowling, just different activities. And but I'll let Connor share a really special date that we had.
So our most favorite date that we've ever been on, the one that we really just kind of talk about, like one of the defining moments in our relationship early on especially, was we hadn't seen each other in a couple weeks, just different things. I think Katie went back home for a week and she was out of town for another week. So we got together and we met up for dinner. When we met for dinner, it was just really awkward. It was just weird because typically we never really had any like awkwardness, and at the time
I think we hadn't seen each other in a few weeks.
Yeah, and at the time, and it was still early on, like in our getting to know each other and dating. At the time,
no, we weren't even dating then.
Well, it was like dating,
going on dates,
getting to know each other, dating is that way.
Talking.
Yeah, we were talking, and I didn't know if she felt like it was awkward. I just really had this weird feeling that I hadn't had before, and honestly, in my head, I was thinking, okay, this actually might not work out. Like everything up to this point was great. And I was telling myself, I don't know if this is gonna work out.
And we were both thinking it.
Yeah, later on once we talked about it.
Yeah.
So we ended up going to Starbucks because we just went to dinner, which was probably like an hour. And then went to Starbucks after that to hang out a little bit more, get some coffee. And still feeling that way. When we get to Starbucks, I don't know exactly how it happened, but Katie Lynn asked me to share my story. And not many people have really asked me to share my story, my testimony. So I shared that with her, and we ended up staying there for 3 hours.
I mean, past the point where they were closed, we just like...
I would say it was like 11.
After
late.
they closed like 9, we were in your car just outside of Starbucks for like a few more hours and just continuing it because he shared his story and he asked me what mine was. And I think that was like such a defining moment because we were just really like real and vulnerable in that moment and in that date that we got to know each other. And of course, like that is just like, your story is such a special thing, and to know somebody else's is like just like connects you in that way.
Right. And I think like Kaylin said just a minute ago was, you know, when your communication matches your commitment. And I think once we got to that point, it was kind of like from there we needed to have that to take the next step into where we were, you know, to the point of, okay, we're boyfriend and girlfriend. We're gonna, you know, see what this is like. Past, like we're kind of past the point of we met each other, we got to know each other now.
And I want to add a little tiny thing is, so I didn't tell Connor. I mean, I told Connor my story, but there were certain things that I didn't tell him because you have to be able to guard your heart.
Yeah.
And again, with that thing that we always say, communication matching your commitment, there were certain things that I wasn't going to tell Connor until our commitment got to that level, if that makes sense. And so I don't want you to feel like if you're getting to know someone and they ask you your testimony or they ask you your story, that you have to...
You don't have to blow it all out.
Yeah, say every little detail, every little thing. It's what you feel most comfortable with at the time, and that what you feel like he needs to know. Because if he doesn't need to know, then you can wait till a later time where it's like, it's better to share that with that person. So
for sure. That's a great point. Yeah, absolutely.
And so then we finish the rest of that summer strong. Just keep, you know, going on dates and hanging out with each other. And we get back to school, and it was, I remember, like, how long into school was it? Like,
it was probably the first week of school.
Yeah.
And I planned it all out and asked Kaylin to be...
We were walking home from Refuge, and he was so nervous, and looking back on it, it's just funny, but he was so nervous, and we get to my apartment, and what happens?
I had written these 5 cards, just kind of describing the past 6 months of getting to know her and getting to know her heart a little bit, and just being with her. And so I had her open each card, which had like little different notes in it. And after the 4th card, the 5th card said, like, will you be my girlfriend? And I had some chocolate and I had these little, she loves white flowers. And so I had white flowers for her, and I was opening my card, and I said, oh no, I forgot something. I was like, I should opening the 5th card. I'm opening my car door to grab these flowers out. So she reads it, there's flowers for her. And
what a sweetheart, huh?
And she, by my luck, she said yes. And it was
the start of something beautiful. But something that we always remember too is I walk into my apartment, and my college roommate Haley was in there, and I remember just being so excited and being like, I have a boyfriend, and it just being like such a exciting and happy moment. And from there on in college, like, I really had to like talk with some of my best friends and talk about how to like share my feelings. And I just wasn't good at that with like guys. And so for the longest time, Connor didn't even, while we were even like going on dates during the summer. He didn't even know if I liked him. And I remember my sister-in-law,
I had to ask my sister-in-law. I said, hey, surely she's not continuing to just say yes to me because she doesn't like me and she feels bad and doesn't want to tell me no.
And Bailey was like, no, surely that's not it. And really that wasn't it. I was just like, I just didn't really know how to do that at the time.
And I just think too, like you were saying earlier, you guarded your heart throughout that entire time to get to know each other. And you were being cautious and careful with it.
Take it slow, you know what?
Yeah,
because
there's no rush.
You have the rest of your life to get to know someone deeper. Like Connor and I, we are, I mean, you want to know certain things, but we're in our marriage still thinking like, how can I know you deeper? How can I know you better? So I think just taking it slow is so important because you don't want to rush into something serious when you're not ready.
Yeah.
We thought that might be a good place to end off our story. Maybe we'll even make a video and talk about after our first year of dating, when it started getting a little bit more serious, and then into engagement before marriage.
Yes.
That could be a fun video.
That'd be a good one.
We learned a lot in those seasons too. But we hope you enjoyed watching this video. We would love to know something special about your love story. And please subscribe if you haven't already. And we're so excited to keep making more videos.
Yeah. We love y'all and we hope that you enjoyed it.
Bye guys.
See ya.